good evening. Ooh, what's up to everybody? How are you? 6:15 over here in Portugal. The clocks went back at the same time, of course, in the UK. So it is, of course, 6:15 in Devon, where John and Anna are of the Fresh Air team. How are you guys?
Yes, hello.
Doing good. Busy, keeping busy, but and just about keeping warm though. It's saying that it's not too cold here at the moment, but autumn's definitely here, I'd say.
In the air, absolutely. And a little known fact possibly about Anna, she's also a very gifted keyboard player, but with a few shenanigans going on with the keyboards, right? The ivories.
Yes, I think it's going way back to April or June this year, I think. But I've got a you're welcome to have a little look at it online if you want to. I've got a little a little. Am I joking? It's a couple of tons. It's a bit of kit called a Yamaha Tyrus 3. Technically a workstation, but it's yes, it's been having a few little issues, and ironically, my portable one, which is in its place at the moment, decided to show up a problem as well today. So had a bit of a time with keyboards, but I've had a little bit of a breakthrough because I've just managed to hopefully secure a upgrade, because the place I got my workstation from in Exeter sadly closed and was independent. So I've been trying to work out how on earth to get the old one fixed, but I've literally just went over to someone at the weekend who was selling theirs, and possibly going to be getting it. So looking forward to a bit more choice on the technical side of things.
Well, hope so, and hopefully you can get that sorted, because if I know you sometimes do a Christmas song special. And you've learned a few Christmas numbers, haven't you? So maybe when we get towards Christmas on our one of our shows towards Christmas, we could have a bit of a sing-song.
You never know.
Maybe it will all be sorted out in time. So let us know how we can help. I think I might have found a guy who does repairs over Newton Abbot Way in Devon in the UK. Well, good evening, everybody. A few comments coming in. Look, Head Gardener's here now as well. Good evening to you, Lee.
Good evening.
Right, mate. How are you?
I'm okay.
He's okay. And has it been a bit of a chilly day in the capital?
No, it's been beautiful up until the last 10 minutes. The sun's gone down. The temperature's disappeared.
Amazing, isn't it? Amazing. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. Cold country, hot sun. When the sun goes, it gets very chilly in Portugal. Deagle's here. Butarcal. Not much growth in Belfast. A few hardy autumn plants must cut back. Top soil and grit to protect over the winter. The grit makes good drainage come spring. Okay, well, cheers for that, Deagle. We have some pictures for you as well, so it'll be nice to share those. I do appreciate you sending me your pictures. And a bit of a seedling hack as well, I think. Come 1st of December, I use stretch and seal over the plant pots. Oh, cling film. It keeps frost off the top of the soil, makes a wee warm air barrier. A wee warm air barrier there. Okay, that's a great tip. Paul, Lottie, Louise, probably Louise mainly tuned in tonight. Is Father not with us tonight, Louise, on this particular episode? Any pictures from you, Louise, as well in your garden? What's going on over there in central Portugal? Joao F as well. Hello, good afternoon, evening, everyone. Joao F, you're a good man. Thank you for tuning in. And our mate, George Hunt. Remember him, folks? I think Anna and John might. Birthday boy today.
Yes, interesting guy.
Parabange. I don't know how much growing he does. He's got a beard. I guess that's his most prolific thing that he's ever grown, isn't it? Is his beard. Lovely bushy beard, actually. And he says, Carl Munson, I'll catch up in a bit, just in the pub having dinner. So if you want to join us on air, George, to celebrate your birthday, as well as having a few pints down the pub by the sound of it, what could possibly go wrong? We'll send you the link later on. Stephen Wells also here. Evening all. Oh, Stephen, how are you? And Benoit, I think that might be from George as well, but who knows? If you're the Facebook user who put that in and I got that wrong, do let me know. Eric, say hi, Eric. Saludos to Mexico tonight. So brilliant. Eric over there in Mexico. Pete Bleach also here. Evening, everyone. Hope you all had a great week. What's growing down your way? Wish we had less successful brambles. We'll come back to the head gardener in a minute. I think I know what he's going to say there about brambles. And yes, thank you for that, John. On the screen now. Pop a question in the comment if you didn't let us know during the week. And Fiona's here, the would-be beekeeper, I think. Thanks to the quick dark evenings, I'm here on time. Yes, it suddenly goes dark as well, doesn't it? Great to see you all live. Huge loves right back at you as well there, Fiona. How are you? And let us know. I mean, perhaps you could cut and paste again your question about beekeeping, because others around the world, like Eric or Stephen or Joao F, might know a thing or two about it, or Deagle over there in Belfast. So brambles, head gardener, have you just got to do the hard work and get in there and dig them out?
Yeah, there's nothing for it. You've got to bend your back and break your back digging them out.
All right,
you could try burning them, but it doesn't really work. You only burn the surface.
He's got a tractor, hasn't he? So you presumably there's an attachment you can buy for getting some digging down deep and dragging or dredging that up.
Even with a tractor, when you plough them over, you're just ploughing them back into the ground, and you leave a little bit of root, and that'll shoot through.
Really?
So, yeah, it's just hard graft. There's nothing else for it.
So why haven't we discovered a great use for brambles, like the cure for the common cold or something? What's the security to stop people climbing in over the fence?
We make great hedging plants, woven in normal fencing, just keep your sheep in, to produce berries.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I guess they do pay their way, don't they?
Great for nesting birds, especially the ground nesting birds like the pheasants and the partridge. They love to nest underneath brambles. Same with rabbits. You see a lot of rabbit warrens are created underneath a bramble patch.
Okay.
So they do have the uses. They're just wild. But what if they get established in your garden or on your land? It'll just become a nightmare.
All right, excellent. Thank you for that, Lee. I was probably giving the brambles a slightly worse reputation than they might deserve. Which, of course, John, begs the question: what do you call a man who lives in brambles?
I don't know, actually. What do you call a man who lives in brambles, Carl?
Warren.
Oh, well, yes, of course.
Okay, and it is Louise. See, Louise.
Dear.
Just sent you 3 pictures, Carl. Thank you for those. Beasties tonight rather than plants. Thank you. They're great. Question was where to source a nucleus of bees in central Portugal. So I don't know how far we got with that. You can also take out brambles, etc., using a special tool. Don't know the name. Looks a bit like a spade at an angle. What's that then, head gardener?
Well, there's 2 that I've seen. There's like a crooked spade, which I've never tried to use. But there's also one that comes with 3 prongs, which is stabbing and twist. Again, yeah. I used it once, and it now wedges up a door somewhere. It was useless.
It happens.
A weed removing tool that was bragged online to be brilliant. It's in the bin.
Yeah, down the garden centre and throughout the history of gardening, how many tools that have been the latest wonder tool do you think, as a percentage, have come and gone, Lee? It's got to be about 50% of them, isn't it?
I was listening to a podcast on Thursday last week about hedgehogs in the UK, and they've done some massive surveys over the last 3 years of hedgehog houses, which have become really popular in the garden centres in the UK.
Yeah.
And the ones that are for sale in the garden centre compared to homemade ones. And the homemade ones outstripped the garden centre bought ones. It's like 75%. So 75% more used with homemade boxes than the garden centre bought ones. I just found that hilarious as well.
It happens because people are well-meaning, aren't they? But you've got to check if it actually works out. It's a bit, I think, like having a bird table in Portugal, isn't it? A lot of Brits come over because they're used to feeding birds at a bird table. There's no point here, is there?
I did it. We actually shipped the bird frame over from England. We brought it with us.
Well, only to become like a spider cobweb house over on this side.
Never gets used. No matter what I put on it, they won't touch it. And I've tried everything.
It's funny, isn't it? What is it about Portuguese birds then that makes them not as tame or interested?
They don't need it. They've got the protein in the insects here all year round.
Okay, so there's no need.
And there's plenty of them. So got a lot of natural food themselves.
All right.
table.
I understand. Makes complete sense. But you were a bit attached to the idea yourself, even an experienced person like yourself.
Back in the UK, I started off with having it 10 foot from the house, and then every few weeks I moved it nearer and nearer to the house till I had it maybe 3 foot from the living room window. Just to let them get used to coming in. And I loved it. We used to get all sorts on it in the UK, and it's been in Portugal now for 2 years and done nothing.
Amazing, isn't it? And Anna is a great, what would we call it? A patron of the birds in the garden. You've had woodpeckers and all sorts, haven't you? A few squirrels and rats as well, it has to be said.
Certainly had squirrels last couple of days. I think that's possibly why the bird food's going down so fast. In fact, I literally was out sort of not as in buying more supplies. I think because we've just we literally have. I'm trying to think the actual kind of feeder that we've got, but we've got such a massive squirrel. It's literally hanging upside down for dear life, trying to eat whatever it can out of the feeders. And it's I know you can get squirrel-proof ones, but we've even got like wire ones, and they've even worked out how to get the lid off it as well. So they don't miss a trick. So I'm glad the birds are getting some food.
Yeah, ingenious little rascals.
There's a guy in the States that does a YouTube video, and he makes these massive, crazy squirrel assault courses, and then films them going through the assault course. It's amazing.
Yeah, really. They are incredible, aren't they? And I don't know if the reds are as intelligent or as ingenious as the greys. I guess someone else might be able to answer that. First time in my life seen a red squirrel was over here, and fairly recently. Okay, so yes, the special tool, the spade at an angle, and just a couple more things on the bramble side is that peat bleach, will have to employ someone to dig them out, as Lee says. Great on the board as well. And the stabby twist tool is really only good for ragwort or dockons. Are dockons the same as dock leaves, docks? Yeah.
The actual reason I got it was for ragwort. Back in the UK, it was a major issue in the area where I lived. And I didn't find it much use for that either. I ended up chemical instead.
Right.
Because it was too much. It was too much hard work.
It's your horse owners, isn't it? Shout out to everybody at the Golgar horse fair at the moment, of course, in Portugal. And it's the ragwort that you have to get out of the horses' fields, isn't it? Because it's poisonous to the old equestrian life. Fiona says, old lady near here put sunflower seeds and popped corn and mealworms out for the birds. Her garden is full of songbirds. Okay, well, she's charmed them. She's charmed them. Yeah. And so bees then, were we able to come up with anything between us about encouraging a nucleus of bees to the garden? Lee, do you know anything about that? I mean, it's a gardening program, not a cookery program.
I kept bees for a short time in Scotland.
Did you?
And I was fortunate enough to have a neighbour that was well into it. He had over 400 hives all over Dumfries and Galloway. So he gave me my first queen. Wow. I only had them for a short time. But as I'm aware, if you join as I imagine it's the same here, if you join the Beekeepers Association, when they get a swarm, they'll put you on a list. When they get a swarm that needs replacing, they'll bring it to you. Or you can go and collect it, which is how it happens in the UK.
Fiona, please, if Fiona does that, it'd be great if she keeps us in touch with photography of the beekeeping video.
When you get a busy hive, it gets a certain size, it will create a second queen, and when she leaves, that's the opportunity then to make an extra hive.
Okay.
I'm not sure what the timing is here or what the process is, but I know in the UK, you join the Beekeepers Association, they keep you well informed for the area.
Yeah. I'm sure they're a lovely bunch in Portugal as well. What an amazing thing to be making the locally produced honey that you see in a lot of the smaller shops in Portugal. Keep us informed, Fiona, on how you get on with that. John, see anything in the comments that takes your fancy?
Yes, well, you pointed out this one from Suzanne Derringer. Yes, greetings from Pittsburgh. We've had frost every night for a while, so the tender herbs are done. Ooh. I'm preparing to move to Washington, D.C. area. while I pursue the paperwork for Italian citizenship, apparently.
Oh, I say that sounds very exciting, doesn't it?
Yes, but going back to animals in the garden, we had a mouse eating the sunflower seeds from one of our sunflowers. But actually, what it turned out was the mouse was storing them as well. And excuse me, I put my wellies on the other day to wash the car, and they were all. Oh, that's a bit weird. What's that thing? Oh, it's loads of sunflower seeds in my welly boot.
Oh, how lovely!
Yeah.
Were you getting to see the mouse go up the sunflower and picking the seeds?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. And then storing them in your welly. So what did you do about that, John?
Well, we weren't quite sure what to do, really.
Leave it be.
Yeah.
If it's outside, let it.
Yeah, maybe buy a hedgehog house and put them inside the hedgehog house.
Yeah.
It's not good for much else, but by the sound of it. Okay, Mike Abel, bonne nuit de Canada tonight. Hello, Mike. Great to see you here as well. And thank you for that. Great to see us live on the show. So Suzanne, when she moves to DC, only taking a couple of large rosemaries and thymes in the pots along to DC, my garden here is over. That sounds very final. When Suzanne talks about the tender herbs being done, presumably, Lee, that's the top growth and they will come back? Or is that things like basil that will die and not be coming back?
The tender stuff won't come back. If the frost hits it, it hits it. So, okay. But we all know it's easy to start again when it comes to herbs. You can buy from the supermarket all year round. Yeah. Indeed. So as soon as the last frost is over, go to the supermarket, buy your little potted herbs and put them out instead.
Great.
We'll soon be back.
All right, Matty here. Hola, todos. Hey, Matty, how you doing? He's getting itchy already, I'm sure, thinking about what he's going to be growing over here in Portugal. Hi, Fiona from Louise. Try contacting. Oh, this is helpful. Thank you. FNAP, the Federação Nacional de Apiculturas de Portugal, for a supplier. There you go. So apiculture, same sort of thing, same sort of word, same Latin root, of course. The olive harvest, it's all about the olives at the moment. Sorry, Lee, what were we going to say?
I imagine the local cooperative will know somebody as well. So if you go to your local agricultural cooperative store, they'll know someone in the area because they'll provide deer. So
agrilogia.
Everybody.
Yeah. Okay. Olive harvest going really well though. Over 400 trees pruned. Yes, that's a really amazing Portuguese skill, isn't it? With that little rough knife that they use. Over 400 trees there, only 200 to go, and we have half of ours done. Wow, shame the ledges aren't open earlier, though, but the ledges, what does that mean? But the trees look so much better pruned. I'm not sure what he means there. The lagars, is it? Is that for the mills that Pete's talking about? Not sure what he's talking about there. But I think we've got a bit of a supplementary on the bees, have we, Anna?
I'm trying to think. We did have. I noted down Fiona's question on just on the anyone in Portugal keeping bees. Just wondering if it was given the correct information that now was a good time to start the new hives in the central area. Also struggling with where to get the bees from. The hives are arriving tomorrow, and I just had a bit of clarification on it. Where to source a nucleus of bees in central Portugal, and that was as far as I got with that one.
Okay, I think we've covered that bit. What was the Gary Austin after? Oh, I think you're muted, Anna.
Gary was wondering any idea where to get a. I had to try and work out what this was, so I'm a little bit new to what this is. Is there any idea where to get a smoke puffer? And I think that's all I had in the question. I think for that one was only in just recently.
They actually sell them at my agricultural cooperative store, and so they're all over the country. I imagine that'll be the best place in your area. I know they sell all beekeeping equipment there. So
yeah, I've noticed. I found a new brand just recently.
If you haven't got it on display, ask, and they'll be able to sell them for you. Yeah.
Good luck with that. Find out what the bee smoker is in Portuguese and go in. Tain, whatever that is. Okay.
You could do the actions for it. That'd be good.
A bit of miming. I'd love to see that. Gary, film yourself in Agrilogia if you're doing that, please, asking for the bee smoker. That'd be amazing. Or like, bzz. We'll see how he gets on with that. Turns out most people do collect swarms to get going. However, I've discovered there are people who sell packs ready with a number of bees and a queen. Nearest one in Leiria or Castella Branco. If you're coming to Leiria, give us a shout, Fiona. And Louise, lovely comment here. Olive picking and pruning is in full swing in our Aldea this week. The sounds of the families all working their plots is fantastic. I can hear it in my mind's ear. That sounds fantastic. Any questions from you, Anna? Have you got anything to give us this evening, or have we dealt with it?
I in fact just seeing the word about frosts actually. It's one question that I've got. This Alex, my aunt up in Wiltshire. Now the frosts have started, can plants still be moved?
Depends what the sort of plant is. You don't want to move anything that's soft. All the woody stuff, once it goes dormant, that's the best time to move it anyway. So small trees, small shrubs, they'll move no problem at all. But just be careful with your delicates. And anything that's a little bit soft, that's still got a little bit of water left in it, just be careful if you're moving them. You can always move it and cover it with a small plant pot or a small piece of plastic just to keep the frost off it for a few days. But I would recommend only moving the hardy woody shrubs that have gone dormant this time of year. Yeah, and trees.
Good call. Good call. Anything else from you there, Anna?
Yeah, we've got one for Kerry, my aunt in Ipplepen here in the UK. Which plants need cutting back for winter and which need leaving for insects to overwinter in?
Oh, good question.
Oh, it is a good question. I don't think you really need to worry about the insects, to be honest, because if they're going to be in, they're going to be right at the base of the trunk of the trees. They're not going to be up in the upper branches because they get so frostbitten. It wouldn't be a good place for them to be anyway. So if you were worried about insects, pruning your shrubs isn't going to make much of a difference. And most shrubs can stand being pruned this time of year, so you'll get away with anything that's hardy. Like I said, prune anything that's hardy, anything that's soft, leave it well alone. But don't worry about the insects because they won't be at the peripheries of the bush. They'll be well deep down into it.
Good point. Excellent stuff. Okay, come back to you in a moment, Anna, if there's anything else from you. Over in Deagle's garden in Belfast, look, there's some herbs in pots. He's not going to be getting any cling film over those, but they look fairly hardy. That looks like a curry plant possibly, and a rosemary there, which I think are among the hardier herbs. And a beautiful, I don't know what that is. Is that chrysanthemum? But that's looking beautiful for a bit of colour this late in the year, isn't it?
I can just see a yellow my phone opposed to.
Okay. Yeah. And an amazing sky apparently over there in Belfast this evening. Kind of cotton wool, like cotton candy sky there, and some amazing colours there. Thank you for that. And he's got a hack. The old see-through egg cartons in a clear plastic. Good seed trays, saving them and reusing them. Nice one, Deagle. Yeah. Come back to your pickies in a minute, Louise. Anything else from you, John, or from Anna?
Well, not that I can think of for now, but I guess I was just wondering, actually, this is an interesting one. It's obviously been bonfire night, fireworks night, or whatever you want to call it, the other day here in the UK. So I was just wondering how people felt about that with wildlife and the garden, because of course the fireworks are very noisy, so a lot of people like to have wildlife in their garden. So I was just interested in people's comments on that, whether that's a frustration. Sometimes the loudness of the fireworks, and you don't get to spot maybe the wildlife that you normally would, or if it's good because it gets rid of pests. So I'll be interested to hear comments on that.
we've got to go straight to the head gardener? That is a great question, John, and a good point.
In my opinion, the wildlife don't react the same as dogs and cats do. Domestic creatures react very differently to wild animals. I get people don't like it because of the way it affects the dogs, but every dog I've ever had has never been bothered by fireworks. We've never had any issues with them. But I've been out late at night on bonfire night and the week up to it, and I've seen deer and rabbits, and they don't even bat an eyelid. They're not bothered in the slightest.
Amazing.
And having been a council worker, I love bonfire night because I used to get overtime to work the to work the few nights before and the big day afterwards cleaning up. So I always liked it. It was always a little bonus in November.
Very good. Yeah,
yeah,
nice one. And I suppose it's a while. I mean, things have changed quite a lot since you were doing that, Lee, right? With a great big civic municipal bonfire display, presumably.
No, I think they're becoming more and more popular because less people are having their own bonfires and firework displays, and more people are going to ones that are put on by councils and pubs and organisations. Yeah. So, if anything, they're getting better and better. And I know the one at Manchester, at Eaton Park, used to be a free event, and now I think they're charging £1, but they get thousands of people in. So you're talking 20, 30,000 people over 2 nights.
Yeah, can't be bad. Okay, well, amazing. I mean, a lot of people do really enjoy it as well, don't they? So I guess the safety caveats, give the old bonfire a poke to make sure there isn't anything nesting in there. But I guess if you make a lot of noise beforehand, in the afternoon and the early evening, the wildlife is going to get disturbed, isn't it? That might be taking refuge in the pile.
Well, one of the great things we used to do, we wouldn't build the fire until the night before.
Oh, okay.
It'd all be set aside in small piles because I believe one year some kids came in the week before and lit the bonfire, pre-lit it.
The warm-up.
We used to have it in several different stacks, and then the day of the bonfire, it would all get put together. Yeah. Which is the way it should be because you don't want to burn hedgehogs.
No, fair enough. Have you got a personal view on that, John? It's a great question.
Yeah, I agree with Lee's point about it should be built on the day, the bonfire.
Yeah, good idea.
From my point of view, I like fireworks, but I'm not a massive fan. To be honest, I'm more of a bonfire man myself. I always prefer the bonfire. That's always my favourite bit of it.
Excellent. I do like fire any time of the year.
But our one here, we don't have a bonfire anymore because they built a blooming sports arena all over where they used to have the bonfire, even though there was already a tennis court there.
John, not happy about that. And in case anyone's wondering, this quaint English custom is, of course, to celebrate the. Well, it's a funny thing to celebrate, isn't it? The near destruction. Okay, Lee thinks it's a good idea. Bonfire night
every year to the politicians that they can be got rid of it.
I think everybody knows possibly what it is. If you don't, give us a shout in the chat. And Lee, I'm sure, will be very happy to remind you and the politicians about the origins of that particular custom. There's a lot of sunflower seeds in commercial birdseed mixes here in the US, says Suzanne. The birds drop a lot of them, and I've had a lot of little sunflowers around the feeders. Yes, you get all sorts of surprises. I think Anna with a look of recognition about that as well. Fiona, if you are near Castilla-Branca, we know a wonderful, enthusiastic beekeeper who used to be in charge of 600 hives. Fantastic, busy person there, I would have thought. Thanks, Louise, and all from Fiona there. In the hortas, we have Christmas cabbage. Thank you for this, Louise. Onions doing well. Salad veg. Wow, salad veg is still going strong. It's liking the San Martino summer that we're having. Peas and beans are just popping up. The cheeky peas and beans that Lee talked about before. Lee, for you, from Eric. We don't have frost here, but the top growth of our herbs is dying off due to lower temperatures. Do we cut them back so they come back next year? Okay.
Cut them back. Anything that's dying off, cut them back, and just try to use your herbs as much as possible. Sort of overstress them because it does do them well. It stops that dying off growth.
Yeah.
So the more you pick them, the more they produce. Yeah.
There you go. And Louise agreeing, and with an extra tip about putting plastic bags and cardboard around for protection. Pete, I have to admit, I don't like either Sagrash or Superbock. Both horribly gassy. but little to a great vice beer. We should have to try. There you go. Beer tips tonight. Suzanne, basils and pineapple sage killed off by the frosts. Mint, lemon, balm, as you say, they're perennial and will grow next year. Thanks, Suzanne, for that as well. Louise, we had permission from the Câmara Municipal for a couple of fires this week. Yes, that's what you got to do in Portugal. Get permission from the local authorities, but out of respect for our neighbours, not on the 5th. Okay, fair enough. Fireworks are still prohibited due to fire risks. Okay, worth bearing in mind. Thank you for that, Louise. Over here, John, celebrations nearly always end with earth-shattering bangers going off. Very popular. Rarely do you see pretty ones, but mostly it's just about huge bangs and flashes. Like a night out in many a northern town, eh? I do not like loud fireworks myself ever since I served in the army. Okay, Eric, fair play. But in my experience, animals all react differently. Some are scared, some don't care, as you said there, Lee. Very interesting, isn't it? And Pete, so brilliant. Used to live down the road from a family who owned a fireworks business, and they had it every blooming night of the year. So nice to have. You'd think they'd get fed up with it, wouldn't you? Like somebody who works in a biscuit factory. So nice to have silence, especially on the 5th. So he's not missing it at all. Have I just been blocked? I don't think so. What makes you say? Why is that? Was it something you said there, João? I think it wasn't me anyway. I don't know. Could be a YouTube thing or a Google thing. Wow, Peter, if I may PM, if I'm going up there to visit my daughter. So that's Fiona. Pete, possibly meeting up Castella Branca way. Feel free. Awesome guy. Ran a commercial business in Israel. Just such a lovely guy. That sounds like a great connection there for you. Never mind. Seem to be back again. So yeah, that blockage didn't last long. João, if we've missed any of your comments, please feel free to put them back in. Anything else from you, Anna?
I don't think so at the moment. I was just thinking with like the fireworks kind of time and bonfires and that sort of thing. I know obviously we get ash is in the trees, but I was just thinking, am I thinking ash does some sort of good for the garden, or was I imagining that? I was just thinking if bonfires can, as in the ash from the bonfires, helps with the garden in any way.
Yeah, you're dead right, Anna. It's great for the garden. It's full of carbon, which is brilliant for the soil. So you can dig it directly into your flower beds, shrub beds, veg beds. It'll go in everywhere, or you can put it onto your compost heap and let all that goodness leach out. So yeah, scrape up I've always done it. If I have fires in the bin, that gets saved, and if I have fires on the ground, I always scrape them up. It's fantastic for it.
So
make sure you sieve out the nails and the tacks that are left behind afterwards.
Is that not a source of iron?
No, they're a source of stabbing yourself in the finger when you're weeding.
Is that the same for? Sorry, Carl, I didn't realise you were still. Is that the same for like the fire you'd have in your front room to heat the house? You can put in there.
Yeah,
ooh,
that's exactly
okay.
Cool. We do it with ours every year. It goes from the fire in the house. It goes around we start off with the fruit trees, and then we move on to the veg bed, and it gets scattered everywhere. And the great thing about the stuff from your house, it burns even smaller, so you get smaller bits of ash, which is easier to dig in.
Okay.
Can you overdo it, Lee, with that?
I don't think so, Carl, because I've put tons and tons on and never had any problems. It is just technically, it's just organic matter. You're just digging back in organic matter. Okay. And here in Portugal, where we have so little of it, you couldn't get enough. And back in England, I never had any trouble. I used to put every fire we had in the house, used to go out into the garden. Although I do scatter it around, it doesn't get all dumped in the same spot. It gets moved around the garden. But yeah, no, I've never.
I've got to pick up on something you said there. So little of it. So the topsoil are we talking about in Portugal is poor? What, because of the sun and the rain effect leaching it away? What's happening in Portugal? Well,
it's just got very poor organic matter in the soil. It's not the same soil as you get in England.
Right.
And I presume it's because they've had different ways of cultivating the ground in the past, and the way they build houses are different. When we came here, the veg bed was 90% sand. It was awful stuff.
Yes.
And a lot of the customers are the same. Once you break through that top inch of soil, you're into either or shale. There's no soil. I keep saying I don't even bury it here because there's nothing to hold you. You know, I'm going to go back when I'm dead. I want my ashes back there. But I've transformed our veg beds by adding as much organic material as possible. Back in the UK, when the leaves fall, the worms come up and pull the leaves in underground.
Yes.
Doesn't happen here. There's not enough worms in the ground, and the ground's too hard. They don't pull the leaves in like they do back in the UK. There's just massive differences I keep noticing all the time with it. Yeah.
Fascinating. Okay, and it's not as if there's a shortage of organic matter. So I mean, everyone can get composting, can't they? And rot it down and get it into the garden.
I've just done a job today. I've put in 50 Eugenia, 2 meters tall, 2.5 meters tall, and I used 1 bag per 3 trees. So I used 15 bags. It came to €74.
Yeah.
You know, it's an expensive hobby. Back in the UK, you would get away with 1 bag for every 7, 8 plants.
Interesting.
You know? Yeah. If you start buying in compost, it gets expensive.
Yeah.
So
No, you want to be rotting it yourself. Eugenia, quickly. What are Eugenia, Lee?
It's a hedging shrub here in Portugal.
Okay.
You can get them. People do have them in the gardens as like a standalone standard shrub that you can shape quite nicely.
Yeah.
But 90% of the ones I see are used for hedging. They grow really quickly. They're green all year round. They've got a nice dark green leaf, small dark green leaf on them, but they grow like wildfire.
Great stuff.
You're looking 3.5 foot a year easily. Yeah, they're fantastic.
All right, we've got a few problems. People struggling, I think, with. We are streaming on Facebook. I have seen that. Sorry, I was just going to call it FB. I think we're good on Facebook, but we're only using one of the Facebook channels. That might be the difference. So Get Out and Grow is the exception that proves the rule that we don't tend to stream on Facebook anymore. But if you're struggling on YouTube, Fiona, then as far as for the foreseeable future, we'll still go out and Get Out and Grow on Facebook. Ash from Fire says, Louise, all get back dug into the horters to overwinter. So Louise, a big fan of that. Another one for you, Lee. We mix our own soil with compost, etc. We always have a pH of 7 or 8, so very good. But now we have 3 trees that like more sour soil. What are some of the things we can mix into the soil? All natural, please.
Well, that's a good question.
To sour the soil.
I never seem to have to go the other way. I always seem to have to improve it rather than. I suppose adding sand would do it to a degree. That'd help with the drainage. I don't know. First question I've been stumped on.
Yes, indeed. No, a rare moment on the Get Out and Grow show here. The Get Out and Grow show.
I'm going to have to Google it and find out. Because I always have to go the other way. I never have to make the ground worse. So
we were calling him Lee McGoogle.
No, I've got a plan.
Here we go.
If I knew that a plant needed to have poorer soil, I would find a customer or an area where it had poorer soil, and I would transplant the soil in buckets. I would go somewhere else, find the right sort of soil, and bring it in for just that purpose.
There you go.
That's what I would do. Yeah.
Borrow it. So borrow the soil.
Find the worst part of your garden. Find the bit of your garden that's not doing very well, and take your soil from there to do your tree. I'll be interested to know what trees it was he was putting in.
Yeah, let us know, Eric. Let us know. Okay, and then there's a concern here that Joao was trying to share with us, trying to post a warning. Since last Friday, I've been informed that a fatal new disease is affecting all species of lemon and orange trees, and there's still no cure for it. So, are you up to speed on this, Lee? What's going on with the citrus?
Yeah, it's not a new disease. It's new in Portugal. It's coming on some shipped in plants from the African areas, I believe. And I've been advised that using copper when the tree's dormant is the best way to go. Using a copper spray, which in my eyes is a fungicide.
Yes. Used in wine growing, isn't it? A lot of the viniculturists use copper.
Yeah. And I've been using it on our peach tree because it had terrible peach leaf curl when we first came. I've had quite good success with it.
All right.
So according to the rumour mill on the more professional Facebook pages, everyone's spraying copper when the tree's dormant.
There you go. Pete, very interesting. Could you post it and any precautions we can take? At present, no precautions, it seems. It is even forbidden to sell citrus plants. My goodness, so that's pretty serious at the moment, isn't it? Quickie then before we go, where are the good rose nurseries in Portugal? I'm still after thinking of moving there. I'm still thinking of moving there, probably around Coimbra after I have Italian citizenship. That's a good ruse, a good move, and can move easily around the EU. I like your style. I like your plan, Suzanne. You've suggested before, I think, Lee, getting them sent in from abroad, right? The roses, not necessarily a rose nursery in Portugal.
Yeah, you can. You can get them. You can get them shipped in. But I was looking for a couple of specific roses a few weeks ago, and there's a company I've mentioned before as well. It's called LV Plants or VL Plants. LV Plants. I'll put a link in the group to it. They're nationwide, and they've been really helpful this last couple of weeks finding some specific plants for me. And I know they've got a wide range of roses from up north that they grow themselves. So I'll put a link into that as well on the group.
Okay, Eric, you've made Eric's day, I think. I feel proud to make you feel lost for words, says Eric. First time. How long have we been doing this now, guys? I think we've been on for a year or so, haven't we now?
Oh, it's got to be 12 months,
Yeah, amazing.
And, all the questions, I'm not pre-warned about them. Kind of just
on the spot. He's on the spot. Yep.
So the first one where I've been stumped properly. Yeah,
amazing. The exception that proves the rule that he is the head gardener. But he used to be Lee McGrady. He's now Lee McGoogle. Getting hold of copper spray.
I'll give you the answer. I'll give you a good
Yes. No, very good. He did. Fair play to him. I just wanted to say that. Getting hold of copper spray is a tad tricky here. Think you need a license. And did the government not stop the sale of lemon trees last year until they were inoculated? Have seen citrus again for sale at garden centres near me. I think it's probably a bit faster and looser at the markets than it is at the garden centres, isn't it? Can get them from Peter Beals in England. Yes, you can technically get roses sent from England, but postage you can't.
Don't waste your money.
Yeah, it's really difficult at the moment, isn't it?
I wouldn't import anything from England or Ireland at the moment. I'd stick to the French and the Dutch and the German sites.
And it's not about the plants, it's about the duty and the problems, of course, of Brexit. Final pictures from Louise. Look at this beautiful praying mantis. That's a beauty. Absolutely fantastic. Looks like a female who's just had a good meal, probably the husband. And what's that? Is that a salamander? A kind of dusty looking salamander in among the rocks there. Lovely pictures, Louise. Thank you very much for these. And a beautiful butterfly pick as well there. Lovely bit of colour in the autumn. An autumnal looking butterfly in the garden. That's superb. Thank you for that. Thank you, everybody, for your pictures and your comments. It looks like Fiona's sorted herself out back on Facebook tonight. So Facebook on Get Out and Grow every Monday evening at 6:15, and of course on the YouTube channel that is Expats Portugal. Thank you very much, everybody. Cheers, Head Gardener McGrady, whose title and crown is intact after a little wobble this evening. Thank you, John. And thank you very much, Anna, as well. Let's go out with that familiar music. And yes, we're thinking about a Christmas party. Maybe we'll have a little bit of a Christmas carol singing effort. Maybe a hybrid of gardening songs and Christmas songs. Well, we'll talk to your agent about it, Anna. Take care. Bye for now. Ciao, ciao.